Alright, so we are descending into the woods somewhere in eastern Massachusetts. We've had a lot of rain. This is one of my prize black trumpet spots, and it hosts two different species of trumpets, Cratereuuls venosus and Cratereuuls phallax. And I'll try to show you how to hunt these guys in this region. The path is itself rather muddy right now, so I'm going to keep my eye out for the first cluster of mushrooms, which should be just up here. Cratereuuls venosus likes the margins of lowland areas, so it's a bit wet right now, so I don't see very many out, and that's because it's too wet. They need that sweet spot between between moist and not wet feet. So the view from the forest floor this morning, wonderful. Here's the first cluster of Cratereuuls venosus. These guys, I'll give you a close-up in a second, but they're a little different than your standard Cratereuuls phallax. They're a little smaller, they have a ashen color on the underside, and they are a little bit sweeter too, so I prefer them over black trumpets. Now you can see they are a smaller mushroom. They have distinctive ashen color on their underside. I'll get some close-ups later, but this is the species. Things are a little too wet. You can see the trail is entirely flooded out. This is normally walkable and dry. This species you'll often find hiding amongst the ferns. Let me see if I can't spot another cluster in here. There's some other mushrooms up. There's a blushing amanita right there. But I'm looking for the trumpets. There's a few more. This will show the nice underside of these. Beautiful mushroom. Here's some classic Cratereuuls phallax. You'll see how they stick out of the forest floor like little cornucopias. This is the other species that I harvest, and the one that most people harvest. This is the commercial black trumpet. I prefer Cratereuuls venosus, but phallax is just as good. Now here's a spot showing what I typically hope to find. You can see it's still early in the season for them because they're small. However, I will be taking some of these and then coming back. Here's the biggest one yet. This one is beautiful. You can see the underside there. Beautiful mushroom. Here's another Cratereuuls species. This is Cratereuuls ignicolor. Now what defines Cratereuuls among the cantharoids, among the cinereus, is the hollow stem. It's hollow right through the middle. And this is true of all Cratereuuls species, but not necessarily cantharoids. So that's how you tell whether you have a Cratereuuls, one of the trumpets. Now one of the things about this species is they only come out when it's sweltering, and you really only find them where you're getting bitten by hundreds of mosquitoes at once. And that's the downside to Cratereuuls venosus. Despite the deliciousness, you're going to find yourself in swampy, marshy habitats, and you will be eaten alive by mosquitoes if you don't treat yourself to some bug spray prior. So notice how I trim before I put in the basket. Clean as you go is the only way to go with trumpets. You got to make sure every mushroom that goes into your basket is clean, because you don't want to be picking out pine needles and dirt afterwards. And that is how I recommend that people pick these. And notice how I use scissors, no mushroom knife. I think mushroom knives are kind of a novelty. They're not really necessary. You use what tools are practical. So what we're looking at here is a dip in the landscape of the hill. This is a wash zone where water washes off of the terrain. This is an ideal place to look for trumpets, cinereus, any cantharoid really. They love this sort of thing. Long, shallow washes off of terrain is what you want when you're looking for trumpets. So this is the kind of slope that you find these mushrooms on. you'll get very tired hiking around. It's almost all hilly terrain. This is what we got for mushrooms today. It's not very much, maybe a pound or two. But, you know, during a good year, these spots will yield dozens of pounds. 2018 gave me at least 50 pounds out of this spot. So when you find a good spot and you find it in a good year, you'll know.